Welcome to this Advent devotional series. This is day 14 of our series. I am Reverend Lester Spees, and I have the privilege of serving as pastor at Memorial Lutheran Church in Glendale, Wisconsin. During this Advent season, I will be reflecting on some tough questions that come from Scripture and on some sacred spaces that have helped me to respond to those tough questions. Thank you for joining me in this journey. This devotion is for Saturday, December 10th, 2022. And our tough question for today comes from Matthew 13, verse 51. Have you understood all this? My college years were spent in Seguin, Texas, at Texas Lutheran College, TLC. It is now called Texas Lutheran University, TLU. I still call it TLC. When I originally started college, it was with the intent of getting a degree so that I could continue my studies in seminary. But a degree in theology or philosophy was not required to attend seminary. You just had to have at least one bachelor's degree in any field. I had classmates in seminary with degrees in psychology, biology, physics, education, business, engineering, and the like. Only a handful of us had a degree in anything like religious studies. Because I was planning on going on to seminary after college, I was assigned a theology advisor. When he asked what I thought would be a good plan for my degree, I told him I thought I would major in math education because I loved math as a high school student, and I thought that an education degree would enable me to have a good fallback plan should the ministry thing not work out. And while he appreciated my approach, he was concerned that I would be wasting my time doing the things necessary for an education license in the state of Texas, when my plan was to leave immediately after getting a degree and go to seminary. He recommended a degree in theology, which, not so ironically, was his field of study. Abandoning my backup plan seemed risky, but I followed Dr. Beck's recommendation and majored in theology. It turned out to be the right choice. I loved my theology classes, and they prepared me well for seminary and for ministry. In particular, I loved Dr. Beck and his approach to learning. College was filled with lots of questions. Sometimes an answer or two appeared or seemed to appear, but mostly there were lots of questions. The questions led to research. The research led to answers. The answers led to reflection. The reflection led to conversations. The conversations led to questions. And the cycle started all over again. I found the study of theology to be challenging. Math was easy. Learn a formula. Plug some numbers into the formula. Practice the use of the formula. Memorize the formula. Move on to a new formula. Math had very few questions, and math was filled with answers. Answers that could often be double-checked. Rarely, if ever, was more than one answer acceptable, although there were often more than one way to get to the answer. Things were right or wrong in math. I liked that. Theology was not so simple. There were many more questions than answers in theology classes. But Dr. Beck's classroom was a space where questions could be asked, answers considered, and learning encouraged. College was scary. Theology was confusing. Making sense of all of the variety of responses and sometimes contradictory responses was challenging. But Dr. Beck always created a safe space. If he ever had a confused look on his face or an experience of frustration with his students, I never saw it. He always smiled. He always listened. He always challenged us to grow and make personal connections to the classroom concepts. He was patient. He was kind. He was supportive. He was pastoral. Other classrooms didn't always feel so sacred. His did. When Jesus asked his disciples, "Have you understood all of this?" he asked it in relationship to several parables that he told. The disciples answered with a quick yes. I have often wondered if their answer was really yes, or was it probably maybe, or maybe even no. Yes feels like the right answer to give, but was it the honest answer? For me, at least, sometimes the parables can be confusing. Sometimes the understanding is not immediate. Sometimes I need a safe and holy space where I can hear the question, do some research, consider the answers, have a conversation about what I've learned, be permitted to ask some of my own questions, and allow the process to start all over again. Thank God I had Dr. Beck's classroom, and thank God I had Dr. Beck in that classroom.